Aloha and welcome to the Hawaii Food and Farmers Series. We're here every Thursday. Matt picked the wrong show to miss because we've got some really great guests on today. Just to recap, the purpose of this series is to bring on Hawaii's farmers as well as all the other folks that are involved with our local food system. Today's guest is Kevin Hanney, owner of the Avenue's Bar and Eatery, as well as a number of other restaurants, including 12th Avenue Grill and Kokohead Cafe. And we also have Robert Paik, who is the chef of Avenue's Bar and Eatery. So thank you guys so much for coming on.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. And so you've got kind of a unique thing going here. I mean, you don't own just one restaurant, you kind of own a number of restaurants, and you guys are kind of known in the neighborhood and in town as making a large effort to kind of incorporate local. And so we're going to talk today about, we'll start off with your new spot and what's kind of unique and going on with that, and then get kind of into the history of how you guys kind of incorporate things like local food and the kind of partnerships you've had. I'm excited, like I mentioned before, we've had on a couple of other chefs before, Michael Whalen and Jennifer He, and they're kind of smaller scale, so really interested to get the perspective of a larger restaurant and kind of the inner workings. Awesome.
Sounds great.
Yeah, thanks again for joining me. And I was able to meet Kevin last week at kind of the soft opening of Avenue Bar. So if we want to kind of start off with what's going on with that right now.
Avenue's Bar and Eatery is what I describe as I call it a modern urban gastropub. So it's really about just very simple, straightforward food, more pub style we're doing, but we put a heavy emphasis on what we're using and how we make it. You know, we like to make everything in-house that we can. We like to use as much local product as we can. It's also a bar, and that's important too. We have a very good cocktail program and craft beer program. We also incorporate a lot of local ingredients in our cocktails. So that's basically what it is. So.
Yeah, so then how do you distinguish that from what 12th Avenue Grill's been around for 12 years, and it's kind of similar, so how do you distinguish between each of them? And
I kind of refer to it sometimes as 12th Avenue's little brother, but it's going to have a life of its own. It's taking. We've had a very successful, we call it craft bar, which is our happy hour at 12th Avenue. We do a lot of little tapas style plates there when we do it, and we do that earlier and then later on weekends. So that was such a success. I really wanted to take that one step further, and that's what Avenues is. It's the growth of that, and so we're doing a lot of small plates and everything, and it's a full scale bar. So.
Okay, and then for each of your different restaurants, you have a different chef. So you kind of are in charge, or not in charge, I don't know, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to kind of explain your role at Avenue.
So my role at Avenues is to make sure that the food is made very well. We do everything pretty much in-house. I even came in with the skill of knowing how to bake bread. So for a lot of our items, we have bread that I've developed so that we can do all of that. And it's just making sure that the food is delicious, it's easily accessible, and that people don't have to think too hard. They can just sit down, have a couple of beers or a cocktail, and just enjoy food.
Okay. And then I kind of said to you, I'm a little bit ignorant of the restaurant business. What's kind of the role in kind of designing the menu and what you're kind of putting together and how you decide what's going to be local and what kind of emphasis that has? If that all comes if that started as your vision for these various restaurants, and then what kind of role does the chef play in that, or what's that kind of relationship?
Well, I have a great relationship with a lot of farmers. I've spent so much time in other restaurants getting to know farmers and purveyors and people who just grow fantastic product. Sometimes it's not about developing an item and finding a farmer who has that ingredient. Sometimes it's just having really fantastic items. Some farmers just grow fantastic stuff, and instead of getting a tomato that takes 2 weeks to ship here, you can get a tomato that's picked closer to ripeness, closer to where we are. So we get, products that are just absolutely delicious because they haven't sit in a cargo ship for 2 weeks. They come from 20 miles down the road. he brings it in his truck and he hands it to us, and we are able to take, a fantastic product, prepare in a way that really allows it to shine and, make it accessible for a lot of people who end up buying a lot of their produce and a lot of their items at, like a chain supermarket.
So do you get all that creative control as the chef, or where do you get to have some say in that?
He has a lot of creative control. I mean, this particular project, since we did have something going that we said, let's expand this, there was a lot that I had a very good idea. I mean, I always have a very good idea of what I want, so this one, but a little bit more so. And we're starting off with that idea, but it will evolve just like all of my restaurants do. You start in one place and it takes its own path, and we'll let it take that path, and Robert will be guiding it for that.
So do you feel there's enough variety from what's available with the local farmers to, like, is it, okay, do you only use Ho Farms tomatoes this way at 12th Avenue, or does that kind of, because if you have a different chef at every place,
we try not
it may
to
be some of the
duplicate
same. Okay,
things,
so then you guys kind of collaborate together as like a family of restaurants?
Yeah, I think the initial opening menu is a collaboration between me and the other chefs at 12th Avenue Grill. Some of them were ideas that worked really well already, and some of them were ideas they wanted to find something different with, but they weren't quite sure. And so a lot of my, experience goes into a lot of those items. I get to, decide how things are plated, how certain sauces are made. So I have a lot of control in some small things, but there were a lot of things that worked really well, and so we want to continue that success of those items and continue to make them great. It's just, it's great to be able to have a lot of those local products ready, but like I said, some items just shine on their own, and so you utilize them in a more unique way. So I come from a different background than some of the other chefs at 12th Avenue Grill, different background than Kevin. So even if we all get the same product, we're all going to utilize it very differently because we all have different backgrounds.
Okay, yeah, let's jump back a little bit and get kind of into your background of how you came into the restaurant and the cooking and the food business. Let's start with Kevin.
Well, how long do you want to make this story?
One. Go back to 1 year old.
So I actually, I worked at my first farm-to-table restaurant in 1978, a place called Wild Winds Organic Farms in upstate New York, and it was a very good restaurant, seasonal. This was about the same time Chez Panisse was coming of age too, and so it was very early in the game, but that's all I've ever done. When I moved to California, I spent 10 years in California in Santa Cruz, and Santa Cruz had a booming organic farm thing going on there, and farmers markets going, and that's I became known as the chef shopping the farmers markets and everything, and it was just a really exciting time for food. It was in the 80s in California. It was a lot of fun. So when I came here in '92, I said, so where do you get your produce around here? And it was really just all bought from the distributors who were bringing it in from the mainland. There wasn't a lot of local stuff available, so I was always in search of that because that's what I've always known.
That's what you were looking for, just to do your own dining at, not necessarily because
that's how I've always done it.
Okay.
And so I had a catering business that was doing very well, and I was looking for a space, actually something that would work well with my catering business. I wanted to do kind of an upscale takeout place, but I couldn't find a space that I could afford. So the space, which is now Kokohead Cafe, but was originally 12th Avenue Grill, was available. So I took it and decided to do Plan B, as I call it, and which was open a restaurant, kind of a bar and grill, upscale bar and grill type place. Was
your catering business also focused on sourcing a lot locally?
I sourced what I could, but again, at that time, it was kind of difficult. And
what was available at that time?
What was big at that time, Nalo Farms was certainly around, and they were supplying a lot of stuff, but it was a lot of greens and things. There wasn't anywhere near the diversity what we have now. I went in the early 90s to do a food event on the Big Island, and there were a lot of Big Island farmers there that were showing their stuff. So I approached them all and said, hey, I'm on Oahu, can you send it over here? But they weren't shipping it here, and they were really very hesitant about shipping product here. They didn't know, how they were going to do it, whether it was going to be worth it. And actually, at that time, I was working 3660 on the Rise had just opened, and I was working there and buying their produce. I said, I'm at a very busy restaurant. I can guarantee you, if you send so much here, we'll buy it. So there were a few places. That's how they started shipping to Oahu, and
and that time you were a cook or a chef at 360?
I was a chef there.
And so you just went out of your way. What were you doing on the Big Island at this thing?
It was at a food event called Winter Wine Escape at the Mauna Kea Hotel. And it doesn't. I don't think they're doing it anymore, but they were there participating in that, just sort of showing their wares, but. Kind of not real interested in shipping it here, but we managed to.
But you took the initiative to be like, no, let's make this happen.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Because right now, because we do have distributors that use local, like Diatani, that's sourcing locally from kind of the larger ones, but even, are they taking from the outer islands?
They are, yeah. I mean, they're all starting to. Fukunaga does. All of them are working with some of them. We use quite a bit a farm called Adaptations, who has become like a distributor for a lot of small farms from the Big Island. So,
are they primarily fruit? Did I make that up?
No, they're everything. So they work with probably about 15 different farms, and so we talk to them, say, "What do you got?" And they tell us, and then they get it. They order it from the farms, and then their farm also, and they put it together and ship it to us. So.
Yeah, and that's interesting. And I became familiar with Avenues because I work at Oahu Fresh, and all of a sudden there was this new restaurant we were delivering stuff to. So it sounds like you have a kind of a number of distributors. And one of the things I think we've heard from restaurants and chefs is they just like to go with the larger distributor because it's easy. It's just a one-stop shop. But you guys are kind of going the extra effort, like, okay, we're going to get this from these people, this from that. Can you talk a little bit about that? And is that your role to manage that?
It is. It's always hard to find the best product, and like I said, it's ideal to get things that are fresh and local because they're going to come in a better way. I mean, a tomato on a cargo ship or a potato traveling for 2 weeks is just not going to be quite as fresh. It's not going to have been picked close to freshness. So it's great to have local farmers constantly send us emails. I get a text message from Ho Farms, for example, every Monday saying what they have, and so I can put in an order. It's picked on Wednesday or it's picked on Tuesday and it arrives on Wednesday. They come fresh and I can utilize them, and they're delicious. So some people like Ho Farms I text, other people I send emails, other people I call every night and say, hey, Nala Farms, I need some Waialae greens, or I need some watercress or things like that, and then I get it the next day, and a lot of them are picked the day that I order them, and they come right away. And so it's fantastic to be able to use the local produce, not only because it supports the local community and we get this awesome product, but also it's really just better than a lot of the mainland items. So it's great to be able to bring those items together and present it for guests so that they can enjoy it, and it makes it more accessible and makes our food delicious. So.
And so is it worth that extra effort to you? I mean, I can't imagine like texting chefs every night when you could so easily just be like, go on their computer and order from whatever folks. It's worth the effort.
It is worth the effort. I mean, a lot of chefs don't get into the industry because of the fantastic hours and the and the wonderful paycheck. It really is a labor of love, and we're trying to make a fantastic experience for guests. And it's not just a great meal. It's somebody getting to enjoy a first date with somebody, or it's someone getting to have a really great dinner on their last night in Hawaii. It's being a part of these people's narratives, part of their story, and so. It's that love of wanting to do something special for somebody that makes you want to go the extra effort to make a better meal, a better salad, a better plate of meat. If we can use local meat, we can use local greens, and we can not only support the community but make people really happy. It's just a fantastic thing to be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like that idea of using food as this medium that we can kind of communicate with people and enjoy experiences together. And we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the fact that you're in Kaimuki, and what I've kind of seen, there's been a little bit of a revitalization of what's kind of available there. So we're going to take a quick 1-minute break and then get right back to it.
Aloha, this is Maria Mera, and I'm here to invite you to my bilingual show, Viva Hawaii on Think Tech Hawaii, every other Monday at 3 p.m. We're here to inform, motivate, and entertain you. Join us. Hola, soy María Mera y estoy aquí para invitaros a mi show bilingüe Viva Hawái en Think Tech Hawaii cada 2 lunes a las 3 de la tarde. Estamos aquí para informaros, motivaros y entreteneros. Apuntaros.
Aloha, namaskar, and hello. My name is Anu Hitchell, and I host the show called Climate Change Beyond Outrage. We go beyond outrage to find solutions to climate problems facing people, nations, and the world. I hope you will join me here every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We broadcast live from thinktechhawaii.com. Aloha and bye-bye.
Aloha! How you doing? It's me, Angus McTech, wishing you to welcome and join us to see us on Hibachi Talk on Think Tech Hawaii. Join my co-hosts, Gordo the Tech Czar and Andrew the Security Guy, every Friday from 1300 to 1345. We look forward to seeing you. We'll talk tech and we'll have some wee bit of fun. And remember, let your wing gang free wherever you be. Aloha!
Aloha and welcome back to Hawaii Food and Farmers Series. I am your solo host today, Justine Spiritu. Today we have on Kevin Hanney and Robert Paik from Avenues Bar and Eatery, as well as 12th Avenue Grill and Kokohead Cafe. Just want to remind you folks at home, please, if you have any questions or comments for our guest, join us on Twitter at ThinkTechHigh, and please, the phone lines are open at 415-871-2474. So as we mentioned, you have these 3 different restaurants in Kaimuki. Can you kind of explain what's the logic of having all of these restaurants in one spot, or how that was that your master plan to take over Kaimuki?
It was actually never my master plan to have 3 restaurants, but yes, here I am with them. And well, you know, in the beginning, you know, I opened 12th Avenue Grill in the space that is now Kokohead Cafe, and you know, it was very successful. So when I had the opportunity to move to a larger space on 12th Avenue, which is very important when the name of your restaurant is 12th Avenue Grill. I wanted to keep that space because it had done so well, and I knew it could. And I really knew, actually, when I first opened 12th Avenue Grill, I went back and forth as to whether I wanted to do a breakfast lunch place or a dinner place. And I, you know, decided on dinner, and I'm glad I did. It's been quite successful. But I decided because I didn't think at that time the breakfast business was really there, you know. But I knew this time around breakfast had really grown. I wanted to open a brunch house, not just a breakfast house, something a little bit beyond just breakfast. So that's how Kokohead Cafe came about. And then where Avenues is, I have had that space for a while and wanted to do more. Again, the original intent was always to be a bar with great food because of our success we had with our craft bar, and also people in the neighborhood saying, you know, one thing we really need in this neighborhood is a good bar with good food.
Mm-hmm. So you really then kind of became a fixture in the neighborhood and got some feedback of what else they wanted to see. And do you and Ed Kenny like collaborate on taking over the neighborhood, or like how does that?
We have a friendly rivalry going on there, but you know, we're you know, what's good for Kaimuki is good for everybody. So you know, we kind of look at it that way.
Yeah, it was great. I lived in Kaimuki for most of my time here, and then Salt was kind of the only thing in terms of like a bar or somewhere to go at night, other than 12th Avenue Grill. I enjoyed that. So if you want to talk about some of the things that are like distinct about your restaurant, some kind of dishes or whatnot. Like for me, Kokohead Cafe is a really good example of, you know, it's breakfast and brunch, but it's got some distinct things that are like Hawaii influence. If you want to kind of talk about some items or
well, you know, it's certainly the Kokohead Cafe is kind of a fusion style breakfast or brunch place, which is pretty unusual. You know, a lot of Asian influence and things. And that menu is Leanne Wong's menu. She's my partner there. So, you know, she's the one that really developed that. And so, you know, we have some things that are pretty much the standard, our Kokomoko, which is a local moko, but done with, you know, we make our own. It's a mushroom gravy from scratch instead of opening a package, of course. And, you know, we're certainly known for our French toast, which is a cornflake crusted fried French toast with billionaire's bacon on it, a candied bacon on top of it. So, you know, a lot of unique kind of Korean influenced dishes, but all done in a breakfast style. So,
Okay. And then what about Avenue Bar? What are some things you've been able to create that's new, or like a new twist on something?
Well, there's a lot of things on the menu that are kind of unique and interesting. One of the things we do is we take pork and we use Ho Farms lemongrass, and we add other, I guess, Asian ingredients like a little bit of oyster sauce, a little bit of kaffir lime and other things, and we make an awesome pork burger. We do a little bit of watercress from Sumida Farms on top. We also do, I mean, it's really just simple, accessible food. You know, we're able to do, for example, we do an antipasta platter. It's up on the screen right now. I make that bread in-house every day. I make fresh sourdough with a leaven that is 17 years old, something I feed every day. You know, it really is a labor of love. But even on that plate, we have house-made pepperoni. We pickle Ho Farms okra. There's pretty much a little bit of love in all of that. Even the tomatoes are from Ho Farms, things like that. We love producing everything in-house because we're able to ensure the quality of it. You know, nothing is set with commercial chemicals or preservatives, things like that. So we're able to really make those ingredients shine, even if it's something simple like a, you know, watercress little slaw on top of a burger, or even if it's house-made bacon that we use to make a bacon jam on our slider. You know, we can put our little take on everything, and that's, you know, important for us because we want to make food that makes people feel good and people feel happy and, you know, want to have a couple of drinks and enjoy themselves. And, you know, it's all part of making an atmosphere where everyone's really happy.
Well, and then speaking of making all those things in-house, I mean, is that that seems kind of unusual. I don't hear too much about that. I mean, the meats that you're talking about and making your own bread, was that always the plan?
Yeah, we also make our own condiments. We make our own ketchup, mustard, pickles, everything. Our buns for the burgers are made in-house. Same thing down at 12th Avenue Grill. That's what makes it fun. That's what being a chef in a restaurant is all about. Is making it all and making it your signature. You know, this is our creation from top to bottom. So.
Yeah. And speaking of creations, when I got to go to the kind of open house of the Avenue Bar, my favorite thing was the coriander soda cocktail. And that was kind of your creation from your mixologist came up with that, or?
Yeah, Joe Arakawa is our bar manager and mixologist, and he's been doing a great job with the cocktails. I love his style of cocktails. They're not, you know, clobber you over the head with alcohol. They're very well balanced and nice cocktails. So, yeah, we decided to bring you a little surprise with that. So,
that you missed the wrong show.
Something to,
yeah. Well, and then like I was saying, just those opportunities to get creative. I'd grown coriander just because I grow cilantro that bolts really fast. So I just never thought of adding that into cocktails. So when you guys are incorporating these kind of local ingredients into all the fun things, it's really exciting. I'm curious of what else, you know, when you talk about, ooh, that smells so good. When you talk about working with farmers, what kind of things were you introduced, like, since you guys have both worked in restaurants outside of Hawaii, can you name some things that you work with a lot now because that's what's available here versus when you're somewhere else? I mean, is it tomatoes? Is it some of the greens, or?
You know, all sorts of things. Certainly something that Hawaii loves is watercress. You know, we work with watercress a lot, and everybody in Hawaii, including myself, loves watercress. You know, something that I always think about is Bill from Kalea Farms would show up with his truck and his stuff in the back. Regular things that we were ordering, but he'd always have things that, you know, do you want to buy some of this or that? And, you know, he had 2 5-gallon buckets of sunchokes that he said, I can't get anybody to buy these things. Are you interested? I said,
like, sure.
All right, we'll take them all. I said, 2 5-gallon buckets. That's a lot of chokes, but we'll take it. We'll just do everything chokes here, you know. And actually, they were a big hit, and you know, we use them a lot for different things. And we had a fried sunchoke dish on the menu at 12th Avenue, and we do all kinds of things with them. So
cool.
that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think we all have different backgrounds that we come from where we utilize different ingredients. You know, I grew up in a Korean home, so I used a lot of, you know, ingredients that people would see in my fridge and be like, what is that? And, you know, you kind of feel embarrassed, but, you know, now it's come to a point where
Everyone enjoys that fusion.
everyone enjoys that fusion, and so we're able to find ingredients that people aren't interested in because they just don't know how
They
to
don't
use
know
it.
they're interested
Yeah,
in it.
they just don't know how to utilize it, and then a farmer has a whole bunch of it available, and you're like, oh, absolutely, I'll take that. I'd love to do all these things from my background, from my memory, growing up, and you know, then you get to share that part of your history with someone else, and they get to enjoy it too. And it's great to be able to, you know, find things like that people aren't thinking of. For example, we're doing dill pickles right now, and it's over at Ho Farms, they grow cucumbers, and they had a bag of cucumbers that were the completely wrong seed. And instead of getting these large commercial cucumbers, they got these little ones, and they actually had this great snap and this great flavor, so we ended up making pickles for it. And you know, you might not be able to sell it at a supermarket, but they make fantastic pickles. So we're able to put that not only in our Hawaiian Island dressing, but we can put it on our burgers, everything else. And you know, that little mistake to them turns into
Yeah.
a reward for us.
And that's cool when
then-
you have that relationship to
Yeah.
get those spontaneous creativities.
Yeah.
All right, are you going to show us some amazing way to make a cocktail?
Well,
Nothing.
Joe pre-made it for us,
Yeah.
so it's really,
That's as far as it goes. But he did make this syrup in-house. It has coriander seed in it. He makes a lot of these ingredients for the cocktails by hand. So every single day I order citrus, I order herbs, and he goes about mixing it. So, you know, this is his take on a Moscow Mule, and it's a little bit of a coriander syrup with some soda water over ice.
it has pau vodka in it, so,
Oh,
And
and
then-
some lime.
Oh
So-
my gosh.
And for you to enjoy.
Delicious. Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you guys.
So.
Oh my gosh, so refreshing. Yeah. Yeah, and that was really fun and exciting getting to go to that event. And I'm sitting across from Yang, who's giving you guys the
Yeah.
mushrooms, sitting across from Terry, the tomatoes, and Ho Farms. So
Well, that event is what we call Friends and Family. That's our practice run. So we invite, you know, our vendors and friends and family, so that if we're going to make mistakes, they understand. You know, it's all
Yeah.
free, so it's okay. You know.
yeah,
So,
and so you got some good feedback from that.
Yeah, and you know, we consider our vendors, our partners, farmer partners, to be friends, and you know, really try to work together with them. So.
And it's always hard for a lot of the farmers and vendors to actually be able to come and sit down and enjoy the food. So it's great to have them at an event like that. So you
Exactly.
Can,
That's what I was thinking. That's really
Yeah.
awesome that you guys invited them to get to really experience each other's stuff. And I saw Manoa chocolate there
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we are taking another quick break, and then we'll have our last 15 minutes.
sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
So
You're watching Think Tech Hawaii, citizen journalism from Hawaii, finding the intersection of our sense of place and our place in the world, right here at home. Great content for Hawaii from Think Tech.
Aloha, this is Reg Baker. I'm the host of Business in Hawaii. We air every Thursday at 2 o'clock on thinktechhawaii.com. We broadcast from the ThinkTech studios in downtown Honolulu, and we talk about positive and successful companies in Hawaii. People that have been successful despite the obstacles. They all have a good story to tell. Hopefully we'll see you on Thursday at 2 o'clock. Aloha.
Aloha, I'm Kaui Lucas, host of Hawaii is My Mainland, here on Think Tech Hawaii every Friday at 3 p.m. We address issues of importance for those of us who live here on the most isolated landmass on the planet. Please come join me Fridays at 3 p.m. Mahalo.
So glad I don't have to share this with my co-host. This is delicious. This is, we're back to Hawaii Food and Farmer Series. I'm your solo host today, Justine Spiritu. Today's guests are Kevin Hanney and Robert Paik from Avenue's Bar and Eatery, as well as 12th Avenue Grill and Kokohead Cafe. They were so kind enough to bring me one of their unique cocktails made with coriander. How does he grind that up with the, is that easy, or how does that even work?
I think he takes it all and he boils it. If you were to grind it up too aggressively, then it makes the drink cloudy. So what he does is he leaves the whole seed and he steeps it and he creates this this slow producing syrup, and he lets it soak for a while, and then once that's all done, he strains it off and he has it ready for his cocktails. Actually, all of his cocktails, I believe we're up to 11 cocktails now. He crafts all of them. You know, there was always the joke that, you know, like chefs will steal recipes and do other things, but Joe pretty much made everything from scratch. I think he wanted to really highlight all the ingredients, doing fresh things. He's always squeezing fresh juice. You know, we bring in cases of oranges and cases of limes and lemons so that he can have not only the zest, but all of the juice for it. He brings in ginger and smashes that so that he can create infusions so that when people are drinking these cocktails, you know, they can taste the sage, they can taste the coriander, things like that, so that, you know, those flavor profiles can also match with the food and, you know, creates a nice cohesive full circle menu where everything kind of goes together and it's all made from scratch with lots of love.
Yeah, it's delicious. So for this last segment, I kind of want to talk about, I mean, it seems like the whole idea of using local ingredients and these collaborations with farmers is just naturally part of the way you've kind of designed things and want it to be. So what do you see? I mean, so then going forward, is it just a smooth, clear path? You got it all figured out and everything's just gonna, what do you see as like, where's your, what are you looking to like adapt or kind of looking, what's in the future for you guys?
For my restaurants and things.
And the future of Hawaii and local ag.
Yeah,
And your kind of role in that. I guess that's kind of one of the things I'm curious about, what you feel, this is kind of what you've been doing, but do you feel a sense of responsibility or like a role in your local food system?
You know, definitely, because restaurants are up front and center. So people see restaurants, they see what's going on. So we can really set the example, you know, for people. And, you know, right now I think it's hard. A lot of farmers are so small, they don't have a lot of product available. They really can't supply the grocery stores with stuff because, you know, you need a lot. But a small restaurant or bar, they can. So, you know, we're the ones they're counting on in farmers markets that to really move their products. So
well, then I mean, in the farmers markets, like, they can sell it. I guess I mean they have their vendors serving it up as well. But that sense of going to the place where they can see the different ways you can actually use it.
And we're showing people what they can do with it. You know, so and the quality of it.
Yeah, I'm curious, with all the stuff you do in house, do you do any kind of like open workshops with that? I know someone recently, one of my friends, is just like, do you know anyone that makes cheese that we could,
well, we
like,
are making, we make cheese. We make about 4 different cheeses in-house. So that is something that's on my list of things. It's on my list of things to do, is to do some workshop type things. At 12th Avenue, we have a very big kitchen, so we could do that.
Yeah, so. Yeah, that's exciting. Anything else more along those lines of bringing in the community to check out what you guys, I mean, so excuse me, you guys are making cheese, and then talk about, I'm pretty ignorant about the meat stuff, I don't eat meat, but if you can talk more about the different varieties you have or what you're making in-house, I'm curious, because that sounds like, I don't know, do you guys have like a butcher shop in there, or what does that even look like?
Well, it's just part of our kitchen, but again, as I said, at 12th Avenue, we're lucky enough to have a fairly large kitchen, so we can do a lot of things in there. But we do a lot of things from different charcuterie type things, so different types of salumis and things. We don't concentrate too much on that, but we do sausages and you know, curing, simple curings of things, and some cured fishes and things like that. So
does that mean you have stuff like hanging?
We do. We have stuff hanging.
I don't know. I'm so ignorant. I'm like, the vegetables are in the fridge or they're on the counter.
And cheese is aging. We have a special refrigerator for aging cheese. So.
And then do you have like a different person for each of those kind of specialties?
No, we have about 3 guys doing pretty much everything. So.
Okay. And where did you find these guys?
Well, they've been working for me for quite a while, and you know, they've just developed this, and so you know, I kind of push these things, and they work hard, and they develop the skills and do it.
Okay.
So.
I mean, and part of it is just running a good business. You know, we don't want to waste a lot. We don't want to have to throw away a lot of things. So sometimes doing those programs is a way to utilize product without necessarily having to, you know, just throw it away or let it go to waste. You know, we butcher some of our own meat. So what we do is we end up having to, you know, cut, let's say, like a New York steak off of a large piece, and we can't use all of it. So what we can do is grind it down, and it ends up being in a sausage or a pepperoni, or we, you know, add that flavor to a burger, and so we're able to not only make a better product, but we don't have any waste. So,
Yeah, I mean, you guys have this whole kind of like closed loop system in there that is something that's kind of on the radar in Hawaii and across the nation. I was just at kind of a mini food waste summit this morning of the idea of asking restaurants what they're kind of doing or requiring them to not take any leftover food into the landfills and coming up with their own programs. Did you guys start off with kind of a baseline of like, here's what we're wasting, so let's come up with some things, or from the get-go it was,
Well, we
guys were already thinking of
produce
that kind of
almost zero
system?
waste out of our kitchens.
Is that
you know.
unusual for restaurants?
Well, it's the goal of every restaurant,
It
you know,
is.
to have no waste. And I'm sure there's many restaurants that are pretty close to that, you know, because that's how you stay in business. So
Sure,
it's,
okay.
you know.
I mean, yeah, coming in from that profit
Yeah.
angle for sure.
Yeah, so that's the goal always, you know, to have as much waste coming out of your kitchen as possible. So,
Is there any new things or innovative things you guys have heard about that you think, oh, maybe we should think of implementing that in that? I mean, I guess right now you're already at a baseline that's pretty good. So maybe it's not on your radar, but have you heard of things?
I don't know of anything offhand that I can say we're looking to do right now, but I mean, we're certainly always open to learning.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So then what, are you looking to other neighborhoods to take over? Or I guess a question of like, what's the capacity of like, do you see, 3 restaurants is good, or do you have a goal of a certain?
Well, you know, I want to grow because that provides opportunities for my employees, and you know that's what it takes. So, yeah, I like what's going on in Kaka'ako. I think that's pretty exciting there. I get a lot of inquiries about whether I want to do something on the west side. I live on the east side. I don't know.
So you're like,
you know,
no, not that interesting.
yeah. So, but yes, you know, I'm looking for what the next opportunity is, and
then
as-
are you, being the success that you've had, are you in this unique position? People are always like pitching ideas at you of like,
Yes,
hey, think
you
about
get-
us,
yes,
think
what-
about over here.
yes,
Is that exciting, or is that kind of stressful? Like,
no,
let me
it's
just
fun.
do my
You know, I'm
thing.
always, and I do say I'm always willing to talk, you know, but it doesn't mean something's going to come
Yeah,
of it. But,
sure.
You know, so.
And then how about you? Do you like where you're at right now? Do you see the room to kind of grow with this new space here? Do you have dreams of finding your neighborhood and doing your 3 restaurants?
Maybe sometime down the line, but I mean, I don't really have, you know, I have these great ideas, but I am really a young chef when it comes to doing a lot of these things. I have a lot of skills, but when it comes to running a business, you know, there are some things that I need to learn. And being under the helm of someone who has so much experience, he can take a lot of those big, grand ideas and making into something that is, I guess, that I can actually utilize. So it's great to have big dreams, but you know, they need to sometimes be taken and turned into something that you can actually utilize to not only make food, but run a good business and to make people happy. So, you know, being mentored by somebody and being able to have a bit of direction along the lines is really going to help me grow. So maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years down the line, I'll also have 3 restaurants. But, you know, this is the best place I could be right now. I have freedom to grow and create, and, you know, being able to work with a crew that allows me to utilize ingredients and to do things that, you know, you typically wouldn't be able to do at a different restaurant. I make bread every day. You know, we make pickles. We do charcuterie. You know, most restaurants.
You know, that word came up on our last show, and can you kind of explain what that means?
Charcuterie?
Yeah.
Charcuterie is, I guess, just any curing and forming of sausages, cured meats.
It's specifically about meat, about
It's,
making.
meat. It's a very, you know, in its earliest stages, it was just somebody who worked with meat. It has become the curing of meats.
Okay.
So.
But there's not very many places where you're able to work with a lot of ingredients and do those, because most places are very commercial. You know, you open a bag from the freezer, you drop it in the fryer, and that's what you serve to people. But, you know, here we're able to get, you know, somebody from Haula bringing their tomatoes in, and we get to
Terry?
utilize them. Yeah, we get to see Terry every, you know, twice a week, talking about, you know, things that are growing, things that are doing really well, and we get to make some awesome products instead of, you know, doing the same old commercial mainland products that, you know, a lot of people do. I think that's one of the fun things about this. You know, people always say,
How often do you get to like kind of mix up your menu?
Well, we're going to try to be seasonal and very local focused, and that means that it's going to change with the seasons.
Yeah, and we're always flexible, and that's the thing. And we do a lot of specials. I mean, 12th Avenue is known for that, and avenues will be the same way. We're in our first week, so we're just making sure everything we're doing is done well and tight. But we'll be doing. There's a lot of flexibility. I give my chefs a lot of flexibility to do what they want to do. So.
Cool. We have only got about a minute left. My goal is to make the coriander cocktail the signature thing. What's the name of it? I'm making it up. I'm
This
just
is
calling
the
it
hot
coriander.
horse.
Hot horse.
Hot horse? Okay. Cool. Yeah, so we just have like a minute left. We mentioned Ho Farms and Green Growers and Small Kind Farm. What's a couple other farmers you guys are working with?
Nalo Farms produces a lot of our greens. I know we get a lot of our watercress from Sumida. Sumida makes fantastic watercress.
They're in Pearl City. Is that the only watercress spot?
That I know of that's producing enough that you can count on them to
Cool.
get it for you. We work a lot with a lot of the Hawaii ranchers, so all of
Oh,
our
right. I
meats
noticed
are
that
local.
on your burger menu.
So yeah, all of our burgers are from Maui Cattle Company. We use a lot of Maui Cattle Company stuff. We also, Machiavelli, we've been working with a lot. We use Niihau lamb. We have a lamb burger, and we also have lamb dishes at 12th Avenue.
But you don't have a portobello mushroom burger.
We don't.
Did you get my note about that?
We have no, I did not. We have a tofu burger, but
Oh, right, okay.
and we are talking about maybe some other veggie burger that we'll do, and so yeah, those are some of the people we're working with. So
Cool. Awesome. Well, we're out of time, so thanks again so much for sharing some of your product and just getting your backstory. And you guys have a great kind of mission and doing awesome work. And thanks so much for what you guys do and for coming and sharing it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So join us again next week, same time, 4 p.m. Hopefully Matthew Johnson will be next to me. And yeah, thank you. See you next week.
Hello, everybody. I'm IC Davidson. Thanks for tuning in to Think Tech Hawaii. One of the things that we do here, or the thing that we do here, is promote civic engagement in Hawaii. What does that mean? We want to talk about things that people want to hear about, and we want you to engage us and be part of that conversation. One of the ways that you can do that is by joining in during our live show via Twitter. How do you do that? Well, you get on the interwebs and get Twitter, get an account, and mention us if you have a question. What you'll do is you tune into our show live, tweet us questions, and our hosts and guests will address them accordingly. It's really easy, it's really fun, and I think that your participation in what we're doing here will help us continue the dialogue on very important issues that we're trying to cover. Sustainability, clean energy, you name it, we're on top of it. We want you to be part of what we're doing, because together we'll be able to make things change. Thank you for watching Think Tech Hawaii, thinktechhawaii.com, weekdays 12 to 5 p.m.